UFC prediction time again. Did really crappy on the last card. 4 and I think 4-7-1. When I say that, should have at least had a fifth win with Alcantara doing pretty much exactly what I said he would do, and then getting DQ'd. No comment on that. I've given it via Twitter. All right, UFC on Fox. Johnson versus Dodson. Let's see if I can do better this time. January 26th from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, USA. This is the sixth one, yes. Simeon Thorson, David Mitchell. I'm higher on both guys than I think anyone else is, which doesn't necessarily confuse me because this is not the first time that's happened. With David Mitchell, you have a guy who is 0-2 in the UFC, yet people want to write him off, despite the fact that one of those losses to Paulo Thiago, before Thiago started becoming shit. And I believe only lost to Fitch at that point. I will verify that, but I will keep talking. And he lost to TJ Wahlberger, who is a surprising kind of submission guy. I mean, I'm not going to excuse it and say that's a fight he, on paper should have won and didn't. So there's definitely some reason for skepticism, but I think people go too far. Let's see here. Oh, never mind. He had lost to Sanchez and Campman as well. Still, Fitch, Sanchez, Campman, and now CR and Don Hume Kim. Yeah. Not a bad loss is what I'm getting at. I'm going to go with Thorson by decision. I think in the end, Mitchell probably does have some problems with the spotlight. Like I said, there's reasons to be concerned about him. I just think that people take it too far. But we'll see. This is one where, definitely the win, but a must win for both guys, because if they can't beat each other, they probably don't deserve to stick around. And that's really about it. But I'm going to go Thorson. Sprawling and brawling, using superior stand-up to get the win. Rafael Natal, Sean Spencer. Sean Spencer taking this on very, very short notice. He's actually a welterweight, not a middleweight. Natal is, as much as I don't like him, I can't tell you why I don't like him, because it's just it's one of those weird, rather illogical things that I just don't like him. He beat Michael Kuiper. He beat Paul Bradley. He lost over to Andy Neo. That's a disturbing one. Draw with Jesse Bonfeld. That's also disturbing. Why is Bonfeld not in the UFC anymore? And Andrew Craig came from behind to beat him most recently. In the end, you got a grappler versus, I think Sean Spencer's supposed to be a wrestler. I'm not really familiar with Sean Spencer, to be honest, but I think being undersized against a guy who's a better grappler, who's bigger, possibly better stand-up, because Natal's stand-up looked really good against Craig. It looked like it had some power. We'll go with a second round submission for Natal. Just a quick note, Michael Kuiper might still be on this card. We'll see. He'll be on his sixth opponent by then. He'll probably win, since that guy will have like a week notice. Mike Stump, Pascal Kraus. Pascal Kraus, unanimous decision. Kraus just better at everything. I think he's a better stand-up guy than Stump. I think he's a better wrestler than Stump. I think he's a better grappler than Stump. The wrestling is, maybe on paper Stump's wrestling's fine, but doesn't. No. It's not interesting, but I mean, they gotta get Kraus away. So there you go. Stump shouldn't even be in the UFC, my opinion. Mike Russo, Sean Jordan. We've seen Sean Jordan against a wrestler before in his fight with Devin Cole. It didn't go well. He got taken down more or less at will. He got controlled on the ground more or less at will. Sean Jordan's he's a promising guy. Greg Jackson's very high on his athleticism, and we do approve of that. But in the end, he's just still needs to learn a lot. I got Russo by decision. Ryan Bader, Vladimir Matroshenko, two wrestlers lacking in the chin department. I'm gonna go with a first round KO, and I'm gonna go with Bader. I think he's a little bit faster. His stand-up's a little bit better than Matroshenko's, and I think he has slightly more power. And I don't really see either of them being able to frequently enough take the other one down to avoid having their bad chins exposed. Clay Guida, Hatsuhioki. I hate to do it, but I got to pick Guida by unanimous decision. I think that the 145 cut will be good for him. I think he'll be big at the weight class. I think he'll be strong. I think his wrestling will really help him there. I think that Hioki is an excellent matchup for him in the sense that Hioki, he's taller, he's longer, he's more technically skilled, both as a striker and a grappler and a wrestler. But Guidi just has that nonstop cardio on you, on you, on you, on you, on you, on you, never stops. I think he wins the decision because I think Hioki has to finish him, and we just proven notoriously difficult to finish. And that's really all there is to it. TJ Grant, Matt Wyman. TJ Grant, I think, better than Wyman at virtually everything. I think he's a better wrestler. I think he's a better grappler. I think he's a better striker. He's bigger. Wyman surprised me with the win over Paul Sass, but at the same time showed that he could be taken down by Sass. It's nothing against Matt Wyman. I just think that I don't really understand how you go from beating Evan Dunham to fighting Matt Wyman. I mean, it's confusing. It seems like a step down the ladder. Grant, Wyman's a tough guy, so we'll go decision. Eric Koch, Ricardo Lamas. If this fight was, what I'm going to say here is, if this was a normal fight, I would go with Eric Koch. I think he's a better striker. I think he can stop Lamas' takedowns. I think if it does go to the ground at some point, he can get back up. Problem is, has not fought since September of last year. That's a long layoff. That's a 15, 16-month layoff. And some of it was injury-related, some of it wasn't. But, I mean, the ring rust is still, I think, palpable. I think Lamas is a guy who, has been thriving on being underestimated and going in there. I mean, he's a good wrestler. He's a good stand-up guy. He's a good grappler. He has a very mean guillotine choke and a very mean arm triangle. I see him getting this job done. I see it by decision because I don't think ring rust equals Koch getting finished in any way. But I do believe that it's just going to show at some point in this fight. Maybe the first round goes to Koch, and the second, third round to Lamas. As Koch just looks like he's just not quite there. Not quite there. Not quite ready to return. So, in conclusion, Koch better fighter. Lama's probably going to win on the night. Moving on, Anthony Pettis, Donald Cowboy Cerrone. People are bagging on both these guys wrestling. I think for strikers, they actually have good wrestling. It's not as good as a wrestler, obviously, but it is. I mean, Pettis did stop some Benson Henderson takedowns. Cerrone also did stop some Benson Henderson takedowns, and that is the champion. So, there is that. Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to go with Pettis. It may seem MMA mathy to say that he beat Henderson and Cerrone didn't, but that's not the only reason. That is part of it, though. I mean, it's the contrast of watching those two strike against Ben Henderson, a common opponent, that allows you to really gauge it. I think that's the difference, is that Pettis just looked that much more technical, that much quicker than Cerrone. Both guys have good enough chins that I don't see them getting any knockout. The other thing is that Cerrone has shown that he will get off game plan to fight you. Unusual for Jackson fighter. And that could come back to bite him as well. I got Pettis, but this is very much, if this fight sucks, oh my god, it's going to be terrible for the sport and whole. Rampage Glover Teixeira. People are telling me Rampage looks good, Rampage looks motivated, Rampage looks like he has cardio again. Till I see it, I refuse to believe it. I got Glover by decision on the basis of just cardio and just looking better in all areas of the game recently. I mean, Rampage, if we get old Rampage, this is a very interesting fight. I'm just not overly convinced that that guy exists anymore. But we'll see. Demetrius Johnson, John Dodson. For the record, I have a terrible, terrible record at picking Demetrius Johnson fights. I picked Joe Benavidez to beat him. I picked Ian McCall to beat him. I picked him to beat Ian McCall when they drew. I did get the Dominic Cruz one right. I had Miguel Torres beating him, which he didn't. I had Kid Yamamoto beating him, which he didn't. I did pick him on Damasio Page and Nick Pace. And I picked him to beat Brad Pickett, and he failed. I think of the UFC champions, basically what I'm getting at here is, I think this is by far the hardest one, just for whatever reason. Historically, Demetrius Johnson's just been hard to pick for me. I'm either giving him too much credit or too little credit, but that being said, here we go. Two really fast guys. I think Dodson's better on the feet, carries a little more power. I think Johnson's a better wrestler. Dodson doesn't have something he seemed to have at 135 when he was at bantamweight was an ability to just wiggle away from you when you tried to take him down. Wiggle, what a technical term. He doesn't seem to have that at 125. And I think that's a big part of why I, in the end, am going with Demetrius Johnson here by decision. I think that Johnson can take him down. I think he can survive on the feet. I think he can, win the ground fight, although not finish him. Yeah, that's really about it. Demetrius Johnson to retain the 125-pound title. People have been saying this shouldn't be the main event. I kind of agree, but those people are putting it below Coke Lamas, and that doesn't work. You ask casual MMA fans who Eric Coke is and who Ricardo Lamas is, and they still don't really know. That's really all there is to it. But I would probably put this below Cerrone Pettis and below Rampage versus Glover. That is me. Anyways, enjoy the fights.